Today, we're going to be talking about the edit. So I'm currently working on my latest short film, Seek, my first submission to the infamous My Road Reel, the world's largest short film competition. And in light of this, I thought I'd give you a little bit of insight on how I'm editing it. Please note that the following conclusions I came to with personal experience. They are opinions and suggestions, they are not law. Before we even stepped on set, we decided to first create a folder system on the hard drive of my choice. In this case, we used a 4 terabyte Western Digital hard drive. No SSDs this time around, just because the other ones that I have are currently being used for other projects or other things, and getting new ones are pretty expensive. We try to keep the budget down on this film, and I will talk about that in a future video upon request. So we've got our hard drive now. Now it's time to create our folder system. The way that I did this was basically just a mash, a combination of different kinds of systems and organizational methods that I picked up from different kinds of industry experts. The one that we ended up going with is very similar to that of Ryan Connolly's from Triumph Films and Film Riot. A link to that in the info card above. So we start with the main folder. You title that the name of your film or your video. So in this case it would be Seek. Under that we have folders for BTS, footage, GFX, images, project files, and sound. Normally I would break these down by day and by equipment that we use, but for this film it just worked better for us to use scene by scene. And then what we did was actually name those scenes with words or phrases. So instead of coming upon the question of what's in that scene again, we just use a word or phrase to describe what that scene consisted of. This was just much easier this time around when you have an assistant editor, an editor, and a sound designer. Now when it comes to the sound folder, it's a little different. We break down the different kinds of sounds by having folders for music, production sound, which is basically just any sound we recorded on set, SFX, which is any sound effects we pluck from the internet or any we make ourselves. This includes Foley, ADR, things like that. And we also have temp music, temp standing for temporary, and that's just filled with different kinds of songs from soundtracks from films we've heard before that might fit the tone of this film, as well as music that we picked up from sites like Epidemic Sound or Bandcamp. None of those tracks will end up in the final cut of the film, but those are just to help us get a grasp of what the tone will be and how we'll edit to things. Sometimes we'll edit to the music, so something like temp music might help that, and it also might help our sound designer decide what he or she wants to create when they're working on the film. Production sound is then broken up the same way that the footage folder is, with one additional folder named MISC. And that's a miscellaneous folder that we use for ambient sound, natural sound, and things like that. When we move from location to location, it was very important for us to get those natural sounds, those ambient sounds, so we could fill in the gaps later that we didn't get with the production sound. The rest of these folders are pretty self-explanatory. BTS is all the behind the scenes footage. GFX will hold graphics. Images are any photos that we took or grabbed from the web that will be in the film or are used to remind us of what tone we're going for. Tone is extremely important to figure out in the pre-production stages. That's what this is right now. We're building out the pre-production folders so we can help the editor in post-production. Project files folder will then hold any Premiere, After Effects, Audition, Illustrator, and Photoshop files. Now that this is built out, we can create the Premiere file. I started out by importing all of our footage and audio clips into the project bins, mirroring the same folder system we have on the drive. Next, we want to create sequences for every scene we have. In this case, there are 8 scenes, and then we drag all their video and audio clips in their respective scene sequences. I'm going to name all these scenes by the number, and also I'm labeling it Selects. I'll let you know why in a bit. Now before even editing the clips together, the first thing we want to do is sync all of our audio. We recorded all of our audio on the Rode NTG3 mixed into a Zoom H4n. Thankfully all of our audio has already been synced previously by our sound designer, so the next thing we want to do is work scene by scene, stitching together all of the film into what's called a rough cut. So pull up your script, your outline, your shot list, or all of the above and start editing your scene together. I'm going to duplicate Scene 1 Selects and rename it Scene 1. And then repeat that for all of my scenes. Next, I'm going to stack 2 timeline sequences on top of each other. This is commonly known as the pancake timeline because you're stacking your timelines like pancakes. I now have my selects on the top and my clean timeline for the scene on the bottom, and I'm ready to scrub through my footage and begin to drag down clips with my newly synced and linked audio, choosing the best clips to be put in the bottom sequence and efficiently put together my scene. So in this video we covered folder systems, Premiere bin and sequence organization, and pancake timelines. This is how I decided to start the edit for my upcoming short film Seek. I hope this was helpful to you, and if you have any suggestions on how to better my editing skills, please leave suggestions down in the comments below. As always, please like this video if it helped you, or dislike it if it didn't, and please tell me in the comments below what I can do better. It really does make a difference. Hit that subscribe button and ping that bell if you want a notification every time I make a video to get the modern day equivalent of a page. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.